Tyrese just had an off night. They did pay a lot of attention to him, um, but it was a great game, man. I mean, it was just physical. Both teams were just playing their hearts out, and I'm not at all concerned. Tyrese is a resourceful guy. He's going to figure things out most of the time. And as I said, he scored 1 point, but he was still +7 in the game. So I think that says a lot right there.
Does this maybe become that next thing for him is figuring out how to adapt when he's the number one guy, perhaps?
It's not a Tyrese thing. This is a team thing. This is something where our mindset as a team has to be a little different in games like that. Where it's physical. It's a high level of physical contact. Not a lot of whistles blowing. We got to figure out better ways to create space and take advantage of stops. They were sending 4 back all night, trying to slow us down, and it was just a difficult night to get great shots. But our defense and our rebounding was night and day better than obviously it was in Brooklyn. But when you have a young team and you're building a foundation, this is the kind of stuff you got to go through. A no-show against a team without its better players one night and losing, and then 2 nights later giving absolutely everything you have and not having enough. And but I told our guys today, that game last night was an NBA playoff game. The way it was played, the mentality, and the kind of grind that it created. So it was a great experience for us, and we just got to, take stock with the good stuff, keep correcting things we need to correct, and work at getting better.
Andrew's season has kind of evolved, and he's played pretty well in some recent games. Have you guys tried to make any sort of effort to get him maybe some more on-ball reps within the rotation that you had?
There was quite a bit of that last night, especially in the second half. And the beauty of his game is that it can travel to off the ball, to with the ball. He could play 3. I'm convinced he could even play the 4 position because he's so physical. Even though he's a point guard, by if you're gonna label him, a position. So I think that's one of the advantages of having him out there is putting Ty off the ball, which we did a pretty good bit last night in the second half.
How do you see him getting better with each of these defensive assignments? I mean, you're giving him the best offensive player almost every night. How are you seeing him get better and improve as he takes one guy and then another and another?
Well, a lot of the learning is coming down to learning how officials call things. Like the first play of the game, it looked to me like he was in great position and they called a touch foul, and they gave Butler 2 free throws. And just understanding that your positioning has got to be really absolutely perfect with some of these guys, or the whistle's going to blow. And one of the challenges that Drew's had is he's had some foul trouble with some unnecessary fouls. But if when we depend on him to guard the best players, he's got to work at limiting the unnecessary fouls. So that's part of the challenge there. But as I've said, and as his college coach said, he figures things out. So he'll continue to figure things out on both sides of the ball.
Have you put this much defensive trust in a rookie before?
Wow, good question. Maybe Tayshaun Prince, who was a special guy, who really played well in our playoff run my second year, and his defense was, he guarded guys like Iverson, and who else did we have? We play against McGrady and guys like that. But similarly, Tayshaun and Drew, both guys that were multiple years in college players. Tayshaun actually played 4 years, if I recall it right. But it's rare. It's rare. It takes a special wiring and a special maturity.
As the season has progressed for Bennedict, how have you seen other teams kind of adjust to the way that he plays and likes to attack, and how have you seen him respond to those adjustments?
Yeah, it's ongoing. With teams more and more just going vertical with multiple guys at the basket, he's learning to Eurostep. He had 2 of those early in the Washington game. That was an adjustment that he's making. The spacing of the game is something that it takes a while for rookies to get. But he's learning about it. The thing I love most about him is that he stays in his process. He's undeterred. A few missed shots don't bother him. He keeps attacking, and he keeps playing his game, and that's what a professional does.
I was talking last week that's one of the adjustments a rookie has to make, because normally you practice 4 or 5 days a week in college,
100%.
and here you had 1 in 3 weeks.
100%. I think you just need to be locked into scouting reports and understand you got to watch your film if you want to be on the court and not making mistakes in terms of just what we're trying to do on both sides of the floor.
I bring up the Golden State game just because you play them again tomorrow. Did you go back and watch the film of what happened?
For sure. I watch every game film. It was a good game for me. My role is going to be different in this game, so I just want to come out, bring energy on both sides of the floor, and see where the chips land. For real.
Why does it seem like the moment's never too big for you? Has it always been that way? Is that your demeanor?
I think so, yeah. I think for me it's just hoops. I put a lot of work into the film, a lot of work into just preparation. I feel comfortable when I get out there. So yeah, it's just hoops for me.
How are you expecting them to counter you after you did what you did in San Francisco? How are you expecting them to do different?
I don't expect them to do too much different. My role is going to be different, so it's going to be a totally different way of looking at it. I think they're going to obviously want to make a point to not let me get going for sure, but I don't think it'll be much different though.
Have you noticed any sort of different defensive attention since that game?
A little bit. I think just teams are respecting me a little bit more. Maybe not putting the worst defender on me. But yeah, I think I'm getting on the scout report a little bit.
On the flip side of that, I guess, how are you expecting I presume you'll get Steph if he plays. I mean, how are you expecting that to change? What are you expecting him to do differently than
For me, it's not going to change at all. I'm going to do the same thing I did. I'm going to try to work hard, play hard, do where our scout report is, and he's going to make shots or miss shots. He's Stephen Curry, So it's like, you just got to make it tough on him.
I'm sure you've watched him play for years, but then as you prepared to guard him, did you do anything different in the preparation to really zero in on exactly what he does, how he does, what he does?
Yeah, I think I just obviously he's the best shooter of all time, so you don't want him to get any looks at 3 no matter what they are. And then he's really, really good at the rim too, so it's like you really want him taking like those mid-range shots if it's possible. So we just try to make it tough, fly around. It's really a team job. It's not just me out there.
Did he say anything to you after the game?
Just a good game. Like I had a good one. Nothing crazy.
About 2 months into the season, do you feel kind of at comfort, at ease, kind of knowing the routine and what the NBA lifestyle is now like?
For sure. I think that's the biggest thing for me this year is just like me and Ben, those guys, we're learning so much, we're getting experience, and like that just makes us comfortable, and like we got so much more to grow, and it's just like the experience and the time here is what elevates us for real, the most, more than individual workouts, all that stuff.
You said you watched tape after every game. What stood out to you again about last night, about how they were defending Tyrese and trying to make things difficult? Because maybe other teams will choose to do the same.
Yeah, I think we just have to loosen it up for him. Maybe get him on some actions where he doesn't have to bring it up the ball and fight that pressure and then have to get it back and keep making plays. I think like me releasing that pressure and then getting it to him later in the possession where he just has to make a play when he touches it will make it easier for him, I think.
How have you kind of felt teams adjust to the way you play and defend you differently?
Pretty much, just being heavy on defense on me. Not showing me easy shots. Just playing hard defense on me, and that's pretty much it.
The natural fallout from that is, what do you have to do differently to beat Bennedict Mathurin and be able to play well against that hands covered?
Pretty much just staying locked in, staying focused on the right things, making a simple play, looking to have the right shot.
The road trip had a couple of really memorable wins. Golden State one was one of them. As you look back on that now with an eye on the rematch, what was special about that?
It was great, having Andrew, who played amazing, probably the best game, of the year. I'm looking forward to just pretty much being locked in on defense, taking the simple shots every time, and just play as a team, play Pacers basketball.
You say being locked in on defense, and we don't know yet who will play for sure, but if you're matched up with a guy like Steph, what's the priority?
Steph, one of the greatest shooter of all time. You can't let him open. Just got to be there early. Try to make him take the next shot, the way harder shot, and pretty much same thing with Klay Thompson. If he ever plays.
I feel like you're locked in for every game, but to have the world champions come here, does that add a little juice for your preparation and for your mindset?
It's great, having a great team coming to Indiana and play, but pretty much looking forward to have the same preparation, have the same mindset every time, I step on the court.
Do you feel like now 2 months in, you've kind of really been able to settle in and figure out a routine and what the NBA lifestyle has been like in terms of the routine of games and everything?
Sure. Like being on the road, having the 13-day road trip, wasn't easy, it wasn't sweet, but at the same time, it's a part of the journey. It was a great experience. Probably won't have a long trip as much as we had, last week, but it was a great experience.
What's it been like having, say, 6 games in 9 days versus, a Thursday, Saturday you might have been used to in college?
Yeah, it's really different, to be honest. It's really different. But, I'm grateful for the opportunity. I love playing basketball. Playing more games than I practice, but at the same time, it's a great opportunity for me to step up every night and try to make a statement.
I want to go back to what you said about making the simple play. What's that mean to you exactly? Obviously, a lot of guys talk about that, about just making the simple, easy play. But are there times you feel like you haven't done that? You try to do too much, and what does simplifying the game mean to you?
Just trying to make the extra pass. Trying to take open shots, not forcing anything, and trying to involve my teammates.
Myles, what was it like to just kind of finally have another practice? Perhaps the first in several weeks, it feels like.
Yeah, it's different. Not having practice like that normally, but it's good to just come back, the home court. Like I said, kind of be together again, just go through our normal routine and whatnot. So I thought we got a solid days of working.
Rick was talking about how last games kind of resembled a playoff feel with the low scoring and intensity, physicality. Did it feel that way? And how different was that compared to the last game where it's 100 more points were scored?
Yeah, it was a different game as far as the disposition was concerned. I think that it was a great defensive game for both teams. Those are the games I think is personally more fun. You're grinding it out. It's just every possession matters, and for our young guys that haven't really been in the playoffs before, was a good test for them and a good time for them to see it.
You talked to start the season about how you kind of wanted to be the veteran to show the young guys kind of the way, how to be a pro and stuff like that. 2 months in, how do you feel like in those type of areas Mathurin and Nembhard have come along?
They've come along great. You've seen that they're playing the court, and they've displayed maturity, since training camp. So, I knew they were ready for the moment. It's just a matter of them getting out there and proving it, and I think they have. I'm happy for both of them getting their opportunity so early.
I think I asked Rick if he's ever put that much trust in a rookie as a defender to take on the assignments that Andrew has, the only name that he become a rotational prince. How rare is it just from looking around the league? Seeing not just guys that you played with, but guys that you played against, rookies that can defend, like he can defend.
It's very rare. It's very rare. A lot of rookies come in concerned with their offense. How am I going to get my offense going? How am I going to score? But Drew, he's really taking the challenge on both sides of the ball, and that's very impressive to me. The fact he can go out there and make plays for others, make plays for himself, and go out there and guard some of the better players. I personally haven't seen anything like that. So it is a rarity. He's only going to get better.
How does he get better assignment by assignment? I mean, he's taking LeBron, he's taking Steph, he's taking Jimmy. I mean, where do you see him improve, I guess, with each of those assignments?
Just knowing his opponent, knowing tendencies. That's the biggest thing. When we start watching film, of the guys you're guarding. As you start going into the season, start learning to become a pro, those things that you do, and I think that's his next step. And he's doing everything off his natural talent right now. But when he actually has experience and he's got the years under him, it's going to bode well for him.
Myles, when Tyrese gets defensive attention like he did last night, what do you feel like you have to do differently on offense to keep things moving and flowing?
He doesn't change too much for us. I just think that we got to kind of just keep the ball moving a little bit more. I think that we depend on him so much to get our offense initiated. But, we have a 5-out offense. We have a free-flowing offense, so it doesn't have to be him initiating it. I think that it was, a little bit of a shell shock for us because the first time, he's been taken out of it like that. But, going forward, it's not going to be an issue because, we're just we're more adept for that.
One day after a game like that, going back and seeing how it went for you, what did you see as, the cause of the stat line that you ended up with?
Just a bad game for me. The shots weren't falling. Kudos to them, they did a good job. Defensively, they were locked in. They got a lot of guys who can really guard the ball well, but just not a successful game for me.
Did they do something unique? Were they sending a coverage your way that you hadn't seen maybe, or teams sending more to you? What have you seen kind of as the season has progressed?
Nah, I just think I had a bad game. I mean, again, I don't want to take away from the talent that they have defensively and the genius that is Eric Spoelstra and, their defensive schemes. I don't want to take away from that, but, I thought I just had a rough game.
I guess how much of it is just dealing with Bam as a switch guy, basically? Obviously, he's really good at that, and that takes away a lot of it.
Yeah, like I said, I think, they got a lot of guys who are talented defensively. The Martin twin, Bam, Jimmy, they got even Kyle. They got 4 or 5 guys on the floor at all times who can guard the ball really well. So, just wasn't a successful game for me overall, and that's just what Bam does.
Do you look back and say that there was mistakes, or was it, just missed shots? I mean, what stands out to you is, okay, this is what I got to do better, or someone's going to guard me like this?
Just a lack of aggressiveness. I haven't went back and watched it yet, but 8 shots is just not enough to, I guess, really go back and reflect on. I think I need to be more aggressive for our team. 2 layups could change the whole flow of that game for me. So, and I think for our team. So, I just got to be more aggressive, hunting my shot, understanding that 0 for 8 can change really really fast.
Is it one of those situations where you just need to see 1 or 2 go down maybe? I thought that free throw might be it.
Yeah. I think that's a big part of it is just trying to see it go in, get to the free throw line more. You guys see I don't get to the free throw line a lot, so it has to come through the flow of offense more than anything. But thought I was engaged defensively. I had a better defense tonight, but just wasn't there offensively for us last night.
Even beyond that game, have you felt a new reality in terms of what you've been able to produce and how teams are now trying to take away or guard you perhaps differently?
I think every game, teams are starting to take us more serious. Obviously we're moving up every day and the standings or expectations are moving up. I think everybody, like I said, we've been picked last in the NBA, all year. So, now teams are playing us with more, I think more sense of urgency. And there's a lot of teams in the league who, don't have the record that they want right now. So teams are going to come in, playing the right way and playing good basketball. And, it's just what Miami did. And we got a hell of a stretch coming up here. So, for me, I think it's more about myself and our team than it is who we play against. We got to be able to do it on both sides of the floor. I thought last night was our best game in terms of physicality. What was the score at one point in the fourth, 69-66. We've preached all year we're going to score. We just got to get stops. And last year we got enough stops. We just didn't score enough. So, just got to be able to put it both together.
What did that feel like considering the previous game there was 100 more points scored?
I thought, I've never played in the playoffs, so I can't speak on it. But, coaches talked about how that was more of a playoff feel of the game being slowed down, playing more half-court basketball. I think a lot of it was due to them. Felt like they weren't crashing as many guys as most teams. Felt like Bam was kind of the lone crasher, and they were kind of sending 4 back, which makes sense considering how dangerous we are in transition. So we just have to figure out a way to combat that, be better in our half-court stuff. But this is a make-or-miss league, and I didn't make a shot yesterday, so that didn't contribute to anything successful.
Are you starting to see more teams send fewer crashes? Obviously, Brooklyn crashed a lot, but is that becoming a trend that fewer teams are crashing on you guys and more crashing on them?
I don't know if it's a trend. I think they're kind of the first team that's done it, kind of take away from what we bring in our transition offense. I mean, like you said, the game before that we gave up 30 offensive rebounds. So I don't necessarily see a trend. I mean, it could be moving forward, but I think at the end of the day, teams just got to do what's best for them. And for us, we got to get enough stops that allows us to play in transition that, because when we're playing open floor, playing in space, we're dangerous.
One thing Rick gave you credit for is the fact that you were still +7 on the floor. You had 6 assists, and obviously all 4 other starters were in double figures. What did you think you did well? I guess either as a decoy or to set your teammates up last night when it wasn't falling for you.
I thought I just did a better job defensively overall, communication, boxing out. Still trying to move the ball as much as I can, and I think that contributed to that. But to be honest, I think I just played with 4 great guys on the court. With Myles and Buddy and Andrew, Aaron, just had guys around me making plays. So I'm really buying the plus minus like that. Just didn't have a great game myself.
What was it like to have a rare practice? Anything in particular that you guys worked on as a group?
It's just a lot of different stuff. Just I think defensive schemes, offensively, seeing more things we can get into his zone because we've been poor against his zone. We were good against zone last night, but seeing how we can be better there, and then just half-court continuity, just moving the ball more, trying to stray away from, ISOs and things like that, just more free-flowing. But it feels good to be in here. It's the first time I've been in my practice locker, and it feels like a month, so it feels good to be here.